Today from Columbus, Ohio, where folks know all about 3 yards and a cloud of dust, it will be the monsters trying to move the pile. Snake Bite. Bigfoot 10. Equalizer and the brand new Barefoot line up for an all-out blitz. Coming up next, a good old-fashioned game of Smash Mouth, monster style. This is Trucks and Tractor Power, featuring the superstars of the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Nationals Monster Truck Challenge. Welcome to Trucks and Tractor Power on the Nashville Network. Today, we're at the Ohio State Fairgrounds in Columbus for the four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. Hi, everybody. I'm Gary Lee. You know, monster truck racing has something we don't find in other forms of motorsports. Participation from all the major manufacturers. There's Chevrolet and Taurus, Bigfoot and Ford, GMC, and the Equalizer. And now Dodge is out to prove they can be a real bear in this competition. Here with that story is Army Armstrong.
One of the first traveling professionals in the sport of monster truck racing comes out of the state of Illinois. The truck, you all know it, it goes by the name of Barefoot. Fred Schaefer has taken that name all over the world, winning many championships, but there's a major change with the Barefoot crew this year. Fred, I'm going to ask you to be up front with me. Tell me why you went over to Dodge.
Army is an old drag racer. I'm always looking for more horsepower, and I ended up at the Dodge camp, and I'm proud to say I'm part of the Dodge racing team now.
Think you can be competitive with these guys? Brand new truck, new engine combination, everything on the vehicle we understand is manufactured by the Mopar people. It's 100% Dodge, we understand.
I think if I can get the power to the ground, I'm going to be right there with those guys. I've got the horsepower, I just got to get it on the ground.
You know, one of the things that's kind of unique is the fact the truck may be red, the driver's suit's red, but it might as well be black for the rest of these guys, because as far as they're concerned, the bad guy just came into town, and he'll be driving a Dodge.
And that Dodge has qualified third fast this afternoon. We're coming back with more from Columbus. Stay with us. We are in Columbus, Ohio today, where Ford trucks present the PENDA four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals, a part of the BF Goodrich Performance Series. Gary Lee along with Army Armstrong as we take a look now at round one. Bigfoot, the fast qualifier against the Carolina Crusher, and Snakebite will go side by side with Tropical Thunder. Then it's Barefoot, the brand new truck against the Keystone Cruncher, and Equalizer will pair up with Moving Violation. Nightmare against King Crunch, and Taurus against No Problem. So round one, the fast qualifier is Bigfoot, and he will go up against Gary Porter's Carolina Crusher, only qualified 7th. A bit of a disappointment for Gary.
You know, Gary he kind of was spooked in qualifying. I don't know what the problem is. He's not where he wants to be. The top half of the field runs against the bottom half of the field. He's the first guy in the bottom. That puts him against a quick qualifier of the day, none other than the old big blue Bigfoot.
Yeah, you talk about new trucks. This is Bigfoot 10. This is the latest creation from St. Louis in the stable of Bob Chandler. Bigfoot 10, another two-frame race truck.
With the engine in the rear. That's one of the big changes on the 10 truck. The engine went to the rear. Porter in the Chevrolet keeps the engine in the front.
Oh, he got the whole shot. Porter got the whole shot. He leads Bigfoot, but here comes Bigfoot, and Andy Brass may have won it.
He caught him in the air, Gary, right at the finish line on the second jump. He literally flew past him.
How did he ever win this round? Now watch this. The whole shot belongs to Gary Porter right here. The Chevrolet has the advantage over the Ford. Gary Porter leads. They get to the second set of cars, and in the air, Andy Brass takes the victory. It's official. Here's Gary.
Gary, if I was a betting man, I would have bet that win went to you, but that's not the word we're getting.
I thought it did. You know, when we crossed the finish line, I looked over and I thought I was in front of them, but you really can't tell, you know, on a race that close. The judges said he won, so we'll just have to let it go with that and come back another day.
Well, he can take a look at the videotape because indeed the video shows that Gary Porter lost by 12 to 18 inches. A good crowd on hand here in Columbus. We continue with round one competition. There's a look at the white Tropical Thunder. That's Wayne Smozanik out of Jupiter, Florida.
Gary, you know, there's something interesting here as he backs up. Chassis research, the decal on the back quarter panel, they're normally involved in the sport of drag racing, but there's a lot of technology coming over from that sport into this sport. Smozanik has teamed up with these guys in Florida, trying to put together a new chassis combination, but who does he go up against? Bad boy himself out of Cobra Creek, Colorado.
Snake bite, Colt Cobra. This is actually a Ford with all the trick fiberglass doghouse in front of that. And last season, his bark, if you will, was worse than the bite. But this year, the snake has some bite.
Yeah, he's got some venom in them fangs this year.
And the snake gets the hole shot as Wayne Smozanik is in trouble. He is out of control. He hits the Hydra barriers. They do their job, and that's exactly why they're there.
Yeah, the ELDON safety system was designed specifically for that, to absorb the energy of these 10, 12,000-pound monster trucks, and they did it.
Wayne is okay. The helmet is off, trying perhaps to figure out what precipitated the off-course excursion. He, of course, was disqualified. Let's take a look again. They're coming right at you. The left lane, Wayne Smozanik and Tropical Thunder. Over the first set of cars, he gets in trouble right here.
Something bends in the truck. That's what causes it to go, because the driver, look, the front wheels are straight, but the truck is going to the right.
Well, he is disqualified, obviously, but no damage to the driver and perhaps very little damage to the truck.
Well, Gary, we were talking about the truck and the new technology here. This is the latest state-of-the-art truck. You look underneath it, you see all the bars. That's part of a 4-link suspension. This truck runs a 4-link with the latest shock absorbers. But one of the weaknesses of a 4-link suspension is if one of the links bends, then the driver basically has no control over the vehicle. And I believe that's exactly what happened here. Once the truck went to the right, the driver had no control whatsoever.
All right, he is caught up with Army Armstrong. Let's go trackside.
All right, do you have any idea what happened on the run?
Yeah, I come off the first set of cars. I didn't want to lift off the throttle because Colt Cobra was right there. And when I landed, I bent one of the 4-link bars, which causes rear suspension to hook and throw me over. Well, we had the rear steering locked off for the Thunder Drag Series, and when the 4-link bar bent, it just like changes the toe on the front end of a car. And it just veered right off to the right.
Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. The truck will be okay. We just change the bar. We'll be back.
And the track crew will fill those Hydra barriers up with some water, and we're ready to go racing as round 1 competition continues here in the Spring Nationals from Columbus, Ohio. There is a look at Dan Patrick in the Keystone Cruncher. Dan, a man that has been behind the scenes, but certainly no stranger to this sport.
He has to be one of the best kept secrets in the sport. I would say he has been involved in the construction of about 85% of these trucks that are running. Now, this one is the exception. Fred Schaefer, lone wolf. He's built everything on this truck with Mopar parts, trying to make a good impression for his new Chrysler sponsor, Gary.
Mopar against Chevy, Keystone Cruncher, and Barefoot round 1. The third fast qualifier. Oh, look at that advantage for Barefoot.
Boy, that new chassis, it's amazing. Now, the Keystone Crusher is running the old-style trucks. Meanwhile,
look at the
Barefoot
smoke. Look at the smoke here from Barefoot.
A lot of smoke coming out. Plus, notice the angle, the lean on the truck. It's brand new. Everything's new. And I'm sure everybody's trying to figure out what kind of smoke is it. Engine smoke, transmission smoke. Why is the truck leaning? But I tell you what, to be a new kid on the block, Fred Schaefer stepped out and is going to play hardball all afternoon long. Look at that, clear of the last set of cars.
Well, of course, he takes the victory. The concern now is for the smoke spraying from under that truck. There may be a problem. Let's go trackside, Army Armstrong.
Well, Gary, we got a problem down here in the pit area. I say we don't have the problem. Fred Schaefer's got the problem with the new Dodge vehicle. They're making all kind of horsepower. That's what he wanted, but they've got some kind of an oil leak. He and the crew are going feverishly trying to figure out where the oil leak is. They just can't find out, but believe me, it is a major problem. Fred said it really spooked him a while ago when he made the run. The bottom of the feet got oily and everything. He couldn't hold the controls or anything, but right now, again, the big problem is where is the oil leak coming from on the big Dodge engine?
A lot of Mopar fans wanting to see that Dodge do well here this afternoon, but right now, a battle of the GMCs. We have Nightmare. Nightmare with Steve Hess out of Haviland, Ohio, not far from Columbus. He will go up against King Crunch, the auto value parts stores, and this is Scott Stevens, another GMC out of Texas.
You know, it's ironic that both the GMCs draw each other in the first round of competition, but you know, they're friends until now. They put the helmet on, it's like putting war paint on. Each guy wants to be the only one that comes out of this street fight. Stevens out of Texas, Nightmare out of Ohio. Let's see what's going to happen here.
Well, of course, with the bracketing, it was the 6th fastest qualifier, Nightmare, against the 12th fastest qualifier, King Crunch. And it's King Crunch by a fender. And he uses all the shutdown area and then some.
Yeah, again, notice the lean. These fellas are running these, what they call Custer shocks, okay, or experimental shocks. And the trucks are not rebounding. They'll rebound one time. Right now, the shock will come back real quick. But after the second jump, the trucks will have a tendency to lean over or tip over, if you will. The drivers are trying to get used to that.
So King Crunch takes that victory, will advance to round 2 competition. We look at Eldon DePew in Taurus, a Chevrolet truck out of Granite City, Illinois, right across the river from St. Louis. And he goes up against the new No Problem.
Eldon DePew and No Problem, that's kind of like a family affair, if you will. No Problem has a new sponsor with the HPX Fastener Company, John Moore, his wife Heidi, their daughter Jill. On the other side of the ledger, Taurus, it's a family operation with Jack Wellman and his nephew Eldon DePew. So, family feud, if you will. Gary, let's see who's going to win it.
Well, it's Ford against Chevrolet, and a good job by Taurus. And Taurus takes the victory over No Problem.
Well, John Moore and his crew will have their day. It'll not be the day in Columbus, though. This kid's going to the next round in the Chevrolet.
We're ready now for round 2 competition as we take a look at the jubilant Colt Cobra. We're coming back. Stay with us. We are at the Ohio State Fairgrounds in Columbus for the 4-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals. Round 2 competition will find Bigfoot 10, another Ford, against Snakebite. And also in round 2 competition, we'll have Barefoot against Equalizer, who advances from round 1. Also, we will see King Crunch and Taurus. So a pair of Fords going side by side. Snakebite and Bigfoot 10.
Gary, there's a story here. A lot of people feel, and I'm one of them, the only reason that Colt Cobra became involved in this sport was to have a Ford that could beat Bob Chandler's Bigfoot Ford and Andy Brass. Last year, he was very vocal about that. He said, I can build a Ford that can be the best. Chandler says, I'm just going to keep doing my thing. I'll keep Andy Brass to see if we keep racing. But a lot of people think the only reason that Colt Cobra's in the game is to beat the big blue truck on his right.
Well, the stake has been very, very vocal. There's some bad blood between Snakebite and the Ford contingent from Bigfoot. We're not sure why, but he wants in the worst way to beat the big blue truck.
Whoa, he's going to have to do better than that on the starting line. Andy Brass drilled him on the start.
But here comes the Snake. Andy Brass in trouble over the second set of cars. A very rare driving miscue on the part of Andy Brass. And Colt Cobra takes the victory. The Snake will advance.
Well, I guess that shows the youngsters out there. Dream your dream and make it come true, because he said he could build a truck that would beat Bigfoot. Now, Foot leaves quick. Cobra stays cool. The truck settles down in no man's land.
But right here, coming over the second set, Andy Brass in trouble. Does not get the air he normally gets. Does not really clear the cars. He drives over the cars. The Snake wins, and he's with Army.
Colt, awfully close on the other end. You said you built the truck for one purpose, to beat the big blue truck. You did it.
Yeah, I know Army is a real tough race. I knew it was going to be. I let Andy go ahead and stage first. It's kind of like a little mind game there. We was both trying to set in on each other there. I knew the left lane was quicker, like I talked to you earlier about it, you know, but it looks like the Ford Snakebite come out on top. I seen him all the way. I could see him out of the corner of my eye. And we had just enough left in the, you know, that little paint gun just gave me a lot of shot down there on the end. I just shot ahead of him.
And he's referring to the new sponsor, the Brass Eagle paint gun, as we take a look at Equalizer lining up against Barefoot.
David Morris and Gary Cook out of Tennessee come in with basically a backyard built vehicle with spare parts and what have you, but they're players. The big question is, what kind of damage was done to this guy, the new kid on the block in the first round? Still a whole lot of smoke coming out of the vehicle. That tells me they did not find the oil leak.
Well, Fred Schaefer has that brand new Dodge Barefoot. We saw him come up with an oil leak in round 1. The truck is still smoking. The question continues, can he go the distance and continue competition here in Columbus? He gets the whole shot.
The answer to your question is yes.
Well, for this round, yes. But how long will that last before he does some severe damage to that engine?
Boy,
that can be very costly.
Yeah, it can, but you know, we got to wait and see. You take this thing one round at a time.
Yeah, and every round can get more expensive if you're doing damage to the engine. We take a look inside the cockpit of the Auto Value King Crunch. There are the eyes of Scott Stevens out of Woodlands, Texas, with a brand new paint scheme on the King Crunch. And there is a look at Eldon DePew in Taurus.
Yo, a moment ago, you talked about the paint gun sponsorship. As we see Eldon DePew come up on the screen, that Colt Cobra had. Bill Simpson saw Scott Stevens get upside down so many times, he sent him one of his helmet. He knew if he was going to get some airtime, that'd be the guy to do it with. And it's working for him.
That's Moscato. He did not qualify all that well. Got a good hole shot there, but here comes the youngster from Granite City, Illinois, Eldon DEPEW. In Taurus, he takes the victory.
There must be something in the genes of these guys, because Jack Wellman Sr. has got a son that can drive his truck. His nephew comes in and puts him in another round.
Semifinal brackets, we look at Snake Bite. Will go against Barefoot, the Equalizer, the fast loser from the last round, will take on Taurus. Well, these jamborees offer a host of activities for not only the truck lover, but the entire family as well. To find out more, call or write the Special Events Promotion Company. Well, we know that Barefoot has an oil leak, but apparently Taurus has a problem. Let's go back trackside to Army Armstrong.
Gary, right now we're down in a pit area with the Taurus team, and they're trying to get their vehicle squared away. Motor's making horsepower, everything's going great. The problem is in the transmission or the drive assembly of the vehicle. They cannot get it in four-wheel drive right now. They said they made the previous run with two-wheel drives only. That's kind of dangerous in this sport, so they definitely want to get Eldon DEPEW back on all fours. Let's see if they can do it. Back to you, Gary.
Well, there's a look at Colt Cobra in Snake Bite, who seems to improve every weekend. He now is a player, but look who he goes up against, the veteran Fred Schaefer out of the Illini state of Illinois. He didn't have too far to drive, just across the state of Indiana over to Ohio for this weekend's competition. The Barefoot Dodge, the Snake Bite Ford coming at you.
You know, and they still cannot figure out where the oil's coming from on the Dodge. Oh, check this out. We're talking racing now.
Good side-by-side racing, but Barefoot and Fred Schaefer takes the victory. The truck continues to smoke. It is leaking oil. I don't know. That's a real gamble. I don't know if I'd be willing to take that gamble and lose about a $30,000 engine.
Yeah, but I know Fred Schaefer, maybe he doesn't have an oil leak. Maybe he just wants us to think he has an oil leak. Whatever, he's going to the final, and oil leak or not, that's what this game's all about.
Well, he just chopped off the head of the Snake Bite, so that Ford is out of competition. The Dodge, the Mopower continues.
Fred, real quick, I know you're busy. The crew's thrashed and literally running around trying to get everything together. Final time you're going to be there. Is the truck 100%?
The truck's looking real good. We got a few little oil leaks, a couple little problems.
Can you get the first win for Dodge? I mean, these guys have been looking for a win for a long time. You could be it, and it could happen today.
If I can hit the right button in there, the motor's got the power. There's no doubt about that. We've seen that with Fast Time already.
Well, Fred Schaefer will be in the final against either Taurus, Eldon DEPEW, or David Morrison, Equalizer. And still there is some question as to whether Taurus has four-wheel drive or two-wheel drive.
Okay, the track crew went back, and Jack Wellman told them, yeah, we got it all ready to go. Let's go racing. So that's the name of the game. We should have two trucks 100% right now. No, it's not there. Two-wheel drive only.
And Equalizer has a problem. Something has broken, perhaps in the drivetrain or the transmission of Equalizer, and Taurus takes the victory. The walking wounded has made it to the finals.
Yeah, Lady Luck was walking on the right side of the track on this one. Let's watch it. You can see the rear wheel spinning only. Equalizer goes out. Now, bang, he shells the transmission. Eldon DEPEW stays cool, does what he has to do, and drives on into the final. So it's going to be Taurus against Barefoot in the final, Gary.
But we could have a controversy brewing. There is Jack Wellman Sr. He is irate. There is some talk that he may not be allowed to run the truck in the final. Let's listen.
You said the rule says competitive run. My guys, we can blast out through them.
Obviously, the officials are stating he cannot run safely with only two-wheel drive. We'll come back and figure this out. Welcome back to Columbus, Ohio, where Ford trucks present the PENDA four-wheel and off-road Jamboree Spring Nationals, a part of the BF Goodrich Performance Series.
Gary, right now, apparently they're going to let this truck go, but just a few minutes ago, the discussion was still hot and heavy as to whether or not it was a safety factor. Barefoot driver says, let them go. Meanwhile, Wellman's crew says, I can run the truck. I've been running it all day long in two-wheel drive, but what's going on behind the scene? Crew members trying to actually get it to go into four-wheel drive, so that's where we stand. A lot of controversy this afternoon for the final, Gary.
Well, it will be the oil leak in Barefoot, two-wheel drive in Taurus, but what's the real safety problem with two-wheel drive?
The rule of thumb is you need those front wheels to get you out of trouble. If the truck noses over to the front, you've got to have the front wheels pulling to pull the truck back out of a nose-down attitude. But we're going racing. It's final time. Everybody's watching the lights, Gary.
Barefoot says, come on, I'll take you on. Well, Barefoot gets the
Gary,
big jump,
you're not
and
gonna believe
Barefoot
this.
will take the victory.
You're not going to believe it. I told you everybody was watching the lights. Fred Schaefer must have blinked because the word we're getting, Taurus will be the winner. Barefoot red lighted. Look at the man, from gloom to cheer real quick. Look at that.
Let's focus now on the light. The officials say he red lighted. He's been disqualified. Fred Shaver said, no, I did not red light. I did not jump the start. But your winner is Taurus and Eldon DEPEW.
Ellen, that had to be some of the coolest, smoothest moves I've ever seen.
Yeah, you know, you just can't ever count your chickens through their hatch, you know. I just patient it out and hope the other guy made mistakes. In this case, he did, and we came out #1.
What a wild turn of events. Congratulations to Jack Willman, his son, Jack Jr., Eldon DEPEW, and the crew of Taurus as he wins it here in Columbus. For Army Armstrong, I'm Gary Lee. We'll see you next week on Trucks and Tractor Power. Now, here's news of an exciting video release from Diamond P Sports.
Here we roll again. All new from Diamond P Sports, it's Shake, Battle, and Roll 2. Call this number for Shake, Battle, and Roll 2. A brand new 70-minute thrill ride with the movers and shakers of tractor pulling. Nitrous-powered mud warriors in breathtaking battles, and monster trucks rolling with the punches as they duke it out in a sea of scrap iron. This all-new release features all stars from the worlds of monster truck racing, mud bogging, and truck and tractor pulling. Now, their racing strategy is simple. Shake, battle, and roll. 1-800-538-8900 is the number to call for this video only. Or send check or money order plus shipping and handling to this address. Visa and MasterCard accepted, no CODs. Call now, 1-800-538-8900. And call this same number, 1-800-538-8900, to get the new Diamond P T-shirt, sizes small through extra large. 1-800-538-8900, order now.